If you feel like your media and graphics are getting a little bit stale, well, in this part of our series, we're going to look at how you can really enhance the look of your media content across the board while also making it more personal to your church. This is Church Media HQ, your church's one source for graphics, websites, videos, and all things creative. I'm Luke Clayton, and I'm really glad that you've joined me today. Make sure you subscribe so that you're the first to know when we release new content like this. So, quality photos of people at your church can greatly improve the personal touch and overall quality of your media. I'm okay with starting with stock photos. In fact, for some, that's pretty much the only place you can start. But at some point, having actual photos of your church and people at your church is pretty much a must. The good news is that this is more doable than ever before because you no longer have to have some kind of high quality camera to capture high quality images. The phone in your pocket is one of the greatest cameras really that we've ever seen for most people out there. So what should we do? What should we be looking to capture in our photos? Well, of course, we're going to use our framework, our three important emphases as our framework working through this part of the series. The first, of course, is going to be worship. Pictures of people worshiping at your church. Beyond that, people entering your church, coming in and enjoying each other's company and so forth. And then, of course, during the actual worship service, people singing and worshiping, and pictures of your worship leaders and people in the audience worshiping and enjoying themselves in a heart of worship. Now, when it comes to your teaching, let's take photos, of course, of your pastor actually in the act of preaching and teaching. Now, this can be, especially if you're not professional, this can be a little bit uncomfortable because you don't want to be a distraction to the preaching. And so, if you're okay with it, and if you can do it in a way that feels natural, consider maybe staging some photos. Maybe when nobody's there, just take ask your pastor to recite some scripture or practice his sermon or whatever it may be, and just make sure you're getting photos that don't show the crowd or that wouldn't show that there's nobody there, but you can stage some photos there potentially. I think if you do it right, there's nothing wrong with that. When it comes to connection opportunities, you want to make sure that you're taking photos of your kids ministry for sure. That is something that you want to showcase, that you offer something for kids and young people alike. And then also, if you can get photos of small groups and classes and so forth meeting, that's going to be huge as well. Again, I go back to that time in particular of people entering and leaving, in the kind of lobby area of your church, talking and smiling. Those are great ways to get organic photos. Appropriate staging of these would be acceptable, but again, you just got to make sure that it works. Some people they're not comfortable with that. They can't really be natural with that. And so just be careful if you decide to stage that it doesn't look staged, that it doesn't look unnatural. So what can you do? Well, I very simply, I would do this. Find someone in your church who has an interest in photography and ask them to take pictures during an upcoming service. Look, I'm not talking about somebody who's got a camera. I mean, if they've got that, great. That's obviously a bonus. But I'm not saying that's a prerequisite. If all they have is a good smartphone, a good iPhone or even Android phone, that's fine. And if you like what they see, then maybe consider getting them on a monthly rotation. Now, I will say this. Don't go to them and say, hey, I want you to take photos every month. No, start by saying, hey, would you be interested in taking some photos, here in the next week or two of, things going on during the church, and just see what they say, because, they might think they're good, but they may not be good. And so anyways, that way you don't put them into some type of commitment thinking that, they're doing this long term. But if you do like what you see, then consider just saying, hey, once a month, the second Sunday of every month, I want you to take photos of different things going on. Maybe during 1 week you're staying in the worship service, getting photos of worship and the preaching and teaching, or maybe another time you're roaming kind of the different nurseries and classrooms and things that we have where the kids' classes are going on. And just the biggest thing you could do is just having a regular rotation of good photos. I mean, if somebody takes 25 photos once a week, and you can just get maybe 5 of those that are good each week, you're going to have a really nice library of photos to choose from, and it's going to be constantly being added to. Now, what can we do for you? Well, if you are able to take some of those photos with Church Media HQ Premium, we can use those photos to customize the look of your website, and with Church Media HQ Pro, we can actually start to create some custom graphics using your church's photos. And of course, with Unlimited, we can design as many of those graphics as you would like and start to create maybe more advanced artwork like brochures and so forth that include your church's photos. Well, now that we are talking about capturing content of your church, next, we'll take it a step further and discuss basic video. Until then, be sure to check out churchmediahq.com/start for all the resources that we have about this. And because we are your church's one source for graphics, websites, videos, and all things creative. And I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Church Media HQ.